Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's SMM Connect webinar event, Innovate and Sell, where you differentiate with Stephen Shapiro. My name is Philip Rodriguez, today's webinar producers saying aloha from the Big Island of Hawaii. Hello and welcome. And we're very happy that you're with us here today. Stephen has put together a great presentation here today. And we're also thankful to Allego for making today's event possible. That's me, again, saying hello. I'm a webinar producer from Training Magazine Network, our parent community, and also SMM Connect. If you need help today, just go ahead and send me a private chat. If it's kind of a technical issue, just select the plus sign and then chat with host, and I promise to assist you as soon as I possibly can. We know that you'll want to register for all of these great upcoming events. Check the webinar calendar frequently because we add to it all of the time. A lot of great events coming your way. Go to smmconnect.com/calendar, or simply just click on your screen right now and register for these great upcoming events. And again, don't forget to check that calendar frequently because new events come up all of the time. If you don't follow us on Twitter already, you should do so because we have special announcements that come only through, and I just called it Twitter from old habits, X, excuse me. If you don't follow us on X, do so at SMM Connect US. We also have free focus reports available to you. To go to salesandmarketing.com/subscribe. And if you don't already get these free reports, and there's a whole library of reports available, go ahead and go to salesandmarketing.com/subscribe. It's free and subscribe today. We want to thank Allego for making today's event possible. Allego is recognized as a leader across every key business process that empowers sales enablement. To find out more about Allego, just click on your screen, or they're even on the lower left. I'm also going to put this in chat for everybody. Thank you, Allego, again, for making today's event possible. So now let's get today's event started. Innovate and Sell, where you differentiate with Stephen Shapiro. Stephen, welcome to SMM Connect.
Well, hello. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Allego. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We're going to cover a lot of content in a relatively short amount of time. And the topic that we're going to cover is about innovating and selling where you differentiate. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of background, first of all, on how I view the world of differentiation and innovation. And then we're going to come back and talk about specifically, how does that relate to selling? How does that relate to marketing and the messages that you use? So first, though, I want to kick off with a poll because I'm just curious, is which sport do you think is the best metaphor for business? So when you watch a sport, maybe you look at American football and think, wow, the way that they tackle each other, goal lines, that's a great metaphor. Maybe it's soccer, maybe it's basketball, or maybe it's something else. You can put your response in the chat. Maybe you don't think it's any of them, or maybe you just think, who cares? I mean, it's like, why are you asking this as the first question? So we've got soccer is pretty high up there, other, none. If you have something other than none, you can put that in the chat. I'm very curious. We'll give this just another couple of seconds here. Basketball is starting to improve. Football, American football is there. So we have, I think we'll end the poll in 5,
There we go.
3. Oh, well, I guess we're done. There we go. Basketball is the clear winner. Love it, because that is actually what we're going to talk about today. As you saw in the previous slide, this is going to be based on my book called Pivotal. And the concept of pivotal comes from the world of basketball. So that's me. I do some work for my local NBA team, the Orlando Magic. And I'm only 5 feet 8 inches tall. I've got a 1-pack. I'm a terrible basketball player. If I'm going to do any dunking, it's going to be dunking a cookie into a coffee, not a basketball into a hoop. So look, I was never meant to be a basketball player. But when you watch basketball, there's a lot of things we can learn, whether it's about teamwork or resilience. But the thing that I like is thinking about a pivot. And when you think about a pivot in basketball, and I'll just use my fingers to sort of simulate it, basically you have a foot that's moving around in circles. Now, you think about the pandemic, and the pandemic in 2020, the word pivot was the word of the year. everybody was pivoting. Everybody was spinning around in circle, changing direction. Now, here's what's fascinating is when we focus on a pivot, almost all eyes are on the foot that's moving. In business, when we're talking about a pivot, we're talking about the shift in strategy, the shift in direction. But the one thing most people miss is that although there's a foot that's moving, there's also one foot that is firmly planted to the ground. There's one foot that is always on the ground that is fundamentally critical because that's what makes it a pivot. So let's talk about pivoting versus being pivotal. And I'll open the screen here so you can see a little better. Is when we are pivoting, we are changing direction. We are shifting. And it's sort of like this, spinning around, going in different directions. And it's exhausting for most people. When I look at most of my clients coming out of the pandemic, they're dizzy. They don't have clarity on where to invest. And when it comes to sales, it seems like our sales message and our marketing messages are changing on a daily basis. When we are pivotal, it is actually about that planted foot. It's about stability. It is about going deep. It's about focusing on depth. And what I like is if we really look at the dictionary definition of pivotal, it means to be of crucial importance or irreplaceable. So it's not about the change, it's about being crucial to your customers. Now think about that from a selling perspective. If you could be irreplaceable, if you could be crucial to your customers, then your selling becomes easier. And that's what we're going to talk about is how can you create a business and a sales and marketing strategy that makes you irreplaceable. So we're going to just dig a little deeper into this. And we're going to start off with a quote. I'll pull this up screen so you can read here. I'll put myself in the corner so you don't disappear completely. So I love this quote from Jeff Bezos. And you know, Jeff Bezos, he was interviewed for Harvard Business Review. And one of these things that he said is a question that I get asked very commonly, very often, is what's going to change in the next 5 to 10 years? And then he continues to say, but that's really maybe the wrong question. A more important question, and one that rarely gets asked, is what's not going to change in the next 5 to 10 years? And then he goes on to say that at Amazon, we're always trying to figure this out because we can really spin up flywheels around these things because all the energy you invest in them today, boom, will still be paying you dividends 10 years from now. So that's what we're looking at here is how can we focus on stability? How can we focus on messages that will stand the test of time? How can we focus on what's going to make a difference in the long run? So what is the thing that doesn't change for organizations? We're going to talk about differentiation. As you could probably tell from the title of the speech, is differentiation is the thing that doesn't change. Because if your differentiator changes all the time, then you don't have a differentiator. So before we go any further, we'll do one more quick poll. And the poll is this: how do you define differentiation? So is it what makes your organization unique or different? Is it about products or services that you have that you offer that others don't? Is it about creating customer value? Or maybe it's about long-term relevance. And these are all parts of good solutions. I like creating customer value. That's great. That's the pretty strong winner right now. Others are coming up in the chat. Good, excellent. So in second place, we have products and services that others don't offer. Great. And I think we can give this 5 seconds and we can end the poll. I think we're getting pretty close to the end here. All right, I think we can end the poll. Yeah, thank you, Philip. All right, so we are looking at 55% of the people said that is creating customer value. 27% is products and services that an organization offers that others don't. And 18% had what makes an organization different. And no one said long-term relevance, which is interesting because that's sort of my definition of it. Now, it's not a sexy definition, but it's the one that we're going to dig into here, is how can we create an environment? How can we create an environment inside of our organizations where we are relevant to our customers in the long term? How can we create an environment where what we offer meets the needs and we become irreplaceable? So that is really around differentiation. We're going to dig into 5 Ds of differentiation. And these 5 Ds, we're not going to get into all 5, but we're going to talk about 2 of them, one of them in particular, which is critical for selling. We're going to talk about 3 of them in a little bit of depth, and 2 of them, I'll just sort of mention them. But there's 5 Ds that we need. So if we're going to differentiate, we need all 5 of these. And the first one I will give you through a story is through probably one of my favorite companies that I talk about in the book, and it's called Radio Flyer. Now, if you know Radio Flyer, they're known for their original red wagon. It's basically 1917. They created this red wagon, and that's what they've been known for. Now, if you think about what business they're in, you might argue I'll put it up here. You might argue that they're in the wagon business, but they realize maybe they're not in the wagon business, and maybe they're in something completely different. So I had some great conversations with Robert Passon, who is the current CEO. I think he's the grandson of the original founder. And I love this. I love it. He said, when he's talking with his customers, when he's talking with people, he doesn't focus on the product. He doesn't focus on the wagon, but he focuses on the brand. And so when he would ask people, what does Radio Flyer mean to you? The first thing that he noticed 100% of the time, they smile, their face lights up, and then they start to tell a story. They tell a story about a time when they had their Radio Flyer, and they wouldn't talk about the wagon though. It's like, my wagon, it is a spaceship. It's a flying carpet. Or somebody told me that at Christmas time it became the center of all of their activities, and they had the tree on their Radio Flyer to take it through the house. And what he realized, what